Alright, welcome. We got another fun one for you. Nice little Grixis Reanimator. Well, Grixis Splashing White Reanimator. So, what do we have? So, the idea for a Reanimator deck, obviously, is to get your creatures into the graveyard and then bring them back via various Reanimator effects. So, first we'll take a look at the cards that we're looking to reanimate, which are all conveniently right here. Then we'll look at the reanimated spells, and then we'll look at the cards that we use to get cards into the graveyard. So first up, we got Kairi the Swirling Sky. It's a 6 mana 6/6 Dragon Spirit Flying Ward 3. But importantly, our Kairi's when it dies abilities are actually really important, or actually like really good for this deck. So the first one is return any number of target non-land permanents with mana value 6 or less to their owner's hand. Not probably as important, but still a good option. The best mode, in my opinion, for this deck is mill 6 cards, then return up to 2 instants and/or sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand. So when Kairi dies, if you have like 2 reanimated cards in your graveyard, you can just bring those 2 reanimate spells back. Cast Kairi again. Kairi dies, bring those back. Cast Kairi, and so you can kind of like cycle through. We'll get to Jin. Actually, we'll just go directly to Jin. Alright, next up is Jin-Gitaxias, Progress Tyrant, 7 mana 5/5. Probably one of my favorite cards. Probably actually my favorite card from Neon Dynasty, except for maybe Tamiyo Completed Sage. But other than that, Jin-Gitaxias is probably my favorite card. Whenever you cast an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. This ability triggers only once each turn. Then whenever your opponent casts an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, counter that spell. This ability triggers only once each turn. So, if you have Jin-Gitaxias out, and let's say you use like a Reanimator spell, you can now reanimate 2 cards for the price of 1. Conversely, your opponent tries to answer like Jin-Gitaxias or any of your board, they typically need 2 removal spells in order to successfully answer Jin. And if you happen to like, get Jin down early, they probably don't have the mana to use 2 removal spells to answer Jin. Next up is Toxrill the Corrosive, 7 mana 7/7, legendary creature Slug Horror. At the beginning of each end step, put the slime counter on each creature you control, each creature you don't control. Creatures you don't control get -1/-1 for each slime counter on them. Whenever a creature you don't control with a slime counter on it dies, create a 1/1 black slug creature token. Then you can pay blue and the black, sacrifice a slug, draw a card. So nice little pseudo-ish like board wipe for like mono white or something like that. Then you have, okay, we'll talk about Lord Xander first. Lord Xander the Collector, which in my opinion is probably, the worst grind boss amongst the 5. Mostly because for 7 mana, this is not really the vibe. However, if you can cheat Lord Xander into play via reanimating him, it's actually not so bad. So what does he say? So he's a 7 mana 6/6. When Lord Xander the Collector enters the battlefield, target opponent discards half the cards in their hand rounded down. Whenever Lord Xander attacks, defending player mills half their library rounded down. And then when Lord Xander dies, target opponent sacrifices half the non-land permanents they control rounded down. At first I thought this card said sacrifices half the permanents they control, and I was like, oh my god. Then I realized it said non-land permanents. I'm like, oh, okay. Not as good, but still pretty good. So like I said, 7 mana to cast this card is not super great, but if you can cheat this card in, it's very nice and reasonable. And then lastly, Velomachus, which is a card we can't actually, we can sort of kind of cast this card naturally via like Fable the Mirror Breaker or Prismari Command are actually the only way to cast it naturally, but obviously we're looking to reanimate it. So what does it say? It's a 7 mana 5/5 with Flying, Vigilance, Haste. When Velomachus Lorehold attacks, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value less than or equal to Velomachus Lorehold's power from among them without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. Now, conveniently, every reanimator spell that's in our deck, its power is equal to Velomachus. Its mana value is equal to Velomachus' power. So, Velomachus attacks, you can theoretically, if you're lucky, hit a reanimator spell. I can't fucking talk right now. And reanimate another card from your graveyard. So theoretically, alright. So then, what are the reanimator spells that we have? Sorry. Graveyard Shift, which is a 5 mana Reanimator spell. This spell has flash as long as there are 5 or more mana values among cards in your graveyard, which honestly is very easy for this deck to have. And then return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So theoretically, you can flash in something to protect you, or you can flash in, you know, your opponent stepped out. You can flash in something and then attack, and then, you know, attack the next turn. And then Return Upon the Tide is a 5 mana Reanimator spell as well. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. If it's an elf, which, okay, that part's not relevant for this deck. But it does have Foretell. So theoretically, you can reanimate a spell as early as turn 4. If you go turn 1 land, turn 2 land into Foretell this, turn 3, turn 4 reanimate. So then how do we get cards into the graveyard? Well, there are a few options. We have Tainted Indulgence, which is draw 2 cards and discard a card unless there are 5 or more mana values among cards in your graveyard. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Its first, Chapter 1, create a 2/2 Red Goblin Shaman creature token with whenever this creature attacks, create a treasure token. But Chapter 2 is where it gets important for us, where you may discard up to 2 cards if you do draw that many cards. Chapter 3, exile the saga, then return it to the battlefield, transformed into your control. So unfortunately, every card in our deck is a legend, so it can't... So the Mirror Breaker, or Reflection of Kiki-Jiki, can't actually copy anything. But, you know, we don't necessarily care about that. Prismari Command is also another way to get cards into the graveyard as well. Maestros Charm. This is the only card in our deck that doesn't rely on having the spell currently in our hand. Because we can look at the top 5 cards of our library, put one of those cards into your hand, and then the rest in our graveyard. So you can put the, you know, Reanimator spell into your hand, and then put, you know, one of the threats into the graveyard. So ideally, what, you know, like the ideal, like, game for this deck is turn 1 land, turn 2 Foretell, Return Upon the Tide, turn 3 get a threat into the graveyard, turn 4 Return Upon the Tide, getting Velomachus, and then Velomachus attacks, hitting another, you know, Reanimator spell, and if you're lucky enough to have put two you know, threats into the graveyard, you can have turn 4 Velomachus plus, you know, one of these other things. So overall, removal suite-wise, we have 3 Baleful Masteries, and then Corpse Explosion, really good card. We can, since there are multiples of the threats, and since they're all legends, you know, exiling one of them to, like, board wipe is not, you know, a bad option. So that's the deck. We've got 24 lands. Pretty reasonable for, like, a mid-rangey deck. So let's go. Let's see what happens. And we just finished up playing Kami War. Went 3-1 with it. Deck's really good. If you haven't seen that video, make sure to check out the YouTubes for that video as well. And let's see how Lord Xander does. It's run on, I'll never make me home. Alright, so this is not, like, ideal for us, but we'll keep it, though. We'll see what happens. Fridge, is the card you hate Jin-Gitaxias? Is that the card you hate? I feel like that's the card most people hate. Okay, so I actually made this hand, like, a lot better now. So now we're gonna go land, Otawara, Return Upon the Tide. As long as my opponent does not duress me. Which now I probably just jinxed it, but whatever. I guess if it goes turn 1 like Eye Twitch, I don't care about that. Or Shambling Gas, I don't care about that either. Sure. Explosive is not bad either. Alright. I'm gonna foretell this. So we're going to... See, I hate Jin. Fridge, nothing's wrong with Jin. Alright, he is a little oppressive, I'll give you that, but... Alright, so we're definitely gonna kill the Dawn Guard Elite. We're just gonna do it now, that way if he happens to untap or do something like that, we're just gonna do this now. So now we're gonna go Mountain, Return Upon the Tide, bring back Jin. And now, if our opponent has, like, there are a few options for our opponent to have that do answer Jin. But... Oh, I do need to draw a, Unfortunately, you cannot do that, my friend. And there's no 1-mana removal spell that enters Jin, so good luck. So unfortunately, we actually can't attack, which is very unfortunate. Okay, so we are going to Tainted Indulgence because we do get to copy this. Oh, I just have to discard the A card. That's actually really good for us, too. Binjin. That's why he's hated? I mean, I understand why he's hated. That certainly was not the question. 2 damage. Theoretically, I could do this later, but we're just gonna do this now. That's really good, too. Yeah, this is fine. Still can attack. So we're actually going to play land past the turn, or actually I could graveyard shift. Well, wait, no. All right, no blocks. Whatever, sure. I'm not really concerned, and I'm not gonna play in anything, so. I can more than likely, like, Jin probably answers whatever he has, but still. You can't kill it. There's no way with 3 mana you can kill Jin. I mean, now you might be able to kill Jin. Alright, that's actually pretty clever, actually. I will happily take this 2-for-1, though. Oh, never mind. That's not relevant. Sure. So this card costs 5 mana, so we can't do both. Yeah, that was actually clever. Okay, well, never mind. I was gonna graveyard shift and bring back 2 things, so... But there you go! Nice little turn 4 Jin. Not bad. That was actually clever, to target their own thing. If they had another removal spell, that actually would have been really good on their part. Hand's also still pretty good. I would like to draw an untapped land for turn 2 would be nice, but it's what it is. Depending on what our opponent's playing, this might be a problem though. Where were you 17 turns ago? Okay, that card actually does answer us very well, and it's kind of annoying. Is our opponent also reanimating stuff? Oh no, they're playing Bombardment. Alright, sure. It's actually pretty good. We're gonna go for it. Well, sometimes, you know, whatever. You've seen the new Marvel Gwent game? Wait, what game? What game were we talking about? Actually, afraid I have no idea what you're talking about, to be honest with you. Opponent goes bottom, bottom. Sure. Ice Tunnel. Sure. So if he does activate Hive, this is fine, actually. He'll exile Jin, and I can return the opponent to Hive, bringing back Kairi, and I'm fine with this. And Xander. It's a card game based on The Witcher. Oh, Gwent! I know of Gwent, but I had no idea what we were talking about when in terms of like I played The Witcher. I guess I didn't put the two pieces together that that's what we were talking about. I guess it might have been better to bring back Kairi. Now that I think about that. At the beginning of your upkeep, sure. Should have done that at the end instead. That was stupid. Okay, well, never mind. Yeah, Marvel made a Gwent clone called Marvel Snap. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I did not know about that, Fridge. Oh, that's lit. Well, the awesomeness that is Xander is doing its thing right now, so... Well, I guess the awesomeness that is Reanimator is doing its thing right now. Not the best hand if we don't draw a land, but if we do draw a land, this hand's really good. Blue source for sure, foretell this. Land is lit. Target a player. I'm gonna try to make a mono. Yo, Hockey, yeah, I'd be happy to do that. Please play this spell. There's no way you have a 1-mana answer toad. I can play Jin next turn? Where the hell are you playing? Are you also playing Reanimator? Where the hell were you? It would have been nice to be able to discard you, but whatever. Welcome back, Jin. Good luck, opponent. Mono green burn deck? Can you do that, Fridge? Mono green burn? Is there a mono green spell that deals like damage to opponents? Yeah, you have a spike field hazard. But I don't want to be rude here, but I don't think it really matters what you do. It's not that I don't believe you, Fridge. It's just I didn't realize it was possible. Honestly, Magic never ceases to amaze me. I wouldn't be surprised. Throne of the God Pharaoh. How does it not recognize that card? I don't think I could reasonably attack though, because he might have Emperor in his deck. This is about to be a real short YouTube video. How do you spell Pharaoh? Oh, wait. You know what? They made interwebs for a reason. I don't know why it's not recognizing this as a card. Oh! You might need the hyphen. Maybe that's why. Because there's a hyphen between God Pharaoh. Maybe that's why. I'm actually curious. I'm going to see if that's actually the problem. Wait, did I spell Pharaoh right? I probably didn't know me. I guess I should've let you in. Nope, I give up. I don't fucking know. Well, it has that whenever opponent. Yep. So you make a ton of green creatures, tap them, anything they die. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses life equal to the number of tap creatures you control. Alright, so you attack with a bunch of things and then... Okay. I think I'm sort of kind of following. And then technically it's like green burned because it's like the green spells are doing all, because like creatures are attacking, and so it's kind of like green is doing the burn, right? See, like theoretically speaking. This wasn't entirely the vibe we were looking for here. My opponent's over here playing Obscura Charm. What has the world come to? What the hell? What the fuck does this card do? Oh, that's high key actually kind of tilting. It's fine though. Copenn, return upon the tide, which is whatever. Can you pick a card, please? I guess if he has negate, good for him. You know, whatever. Discard, discard. I can almost Kairi next turn, so getting Kairi into play is pretty lit. I've been playing 5 colors. I don't think Obscura's Ascendancy is a very good card. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think like really any of the Ascendancies are good, but except for maybe Broker's Ascendancy. Actually, Broker's Ascendancy is actually probably the only good Ascendancy from this. Opponent, can you decide what you're doing with your life, please? If you have Deadly Dispute, just do it. What the hell was the point of that? Opponent's running Syncopate? I don't honestly know what the hell my opponent is. Yeah, I mean, I guess. Business, draw. Yeah, he's doing the things. He can't have a counterspell though, so. You're right, I didn't believe that this could happen. I high-key was like, there's no way in hell this is gonna work. Spade?
I feel that, Valiant Archer.
Hello, opponent. Spade, the last couple weeks have been really rough, which is why I haven't been on like media or anything like that. But we're feeling really good now, so we're back doing the things. Might as well attack with Reflection of Kiki Jiki, because why the fuck not? Look at me so handsome in the left hand corner. He only has one card in his hand. I'll get back, Jin. Spade. Fucking amazing, bro. I love you. Nothing can stop the power of Grixis Reanimator. Not even some weird ass obscure as ascendancy stuff. Gonna be. I mean, Fridge, that's like half the joy, you know? Being locked in a rave. It's like half the joy. Alright. Well, that was Grixis Reanimator that went 4-0. Honestly, the deck feels good. I'm not entirely sure what changes I would make. Obviously, you can change around, like, the threat count. I'm sure there's, like, obviously a good one for people to run would be... Olivia Voldaren is obviously a really good choice. Because when she attacks, you can bring something back as well. So you kind of get a 2-for-1 kind of situation. I didn't kind of like the fragility of, like, if Olivia dies, then the creature that you got back dies too. So I wasn't a huge fan. So I'm not the biggest fan of Olivia. But other than that, I honestly can't really think of other changes you can make. Obviously, you could change the removal suite if you so chose. Like, Baleful Mastery could be, you know, any 2-mana removal spell, theoretically speaking. Could potentially also up the number of corpse explosions. This card's really good. Since typically you won't have much of a board presence, having corpse explosion to just wipe the board is pretty good. I don't know, sounds like the... That's fair enough, Rich, that's fair. Other than that, I think the deck's really good. YouTube folks, let me know what you think about the deck. Let me know what other, like, cards that you would consider reanimating in this deck as well. Other than that, YouTube folks, I appreciate you watching. And if you're watching on YouTubes and you want to catch me live on Twitch, I'm typically live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, 4:30 Eastern Standard Time until whenever I decide to get off for the night. YouTube folks, I love you. I appreciate you guys watching. And thank you so much. And hopefully I will see you guys live on Twitch.